Hey guys, welcome back. So today I just wanted to sit down and give you my advice on how to make the most out of your small garden. I know that there's a lot of you guys planting gardens right now, and there's also quite a few of you guys that are starting gardens from scratch this year. So I wanted to give you my advice on how to use your space to the fullest. This is the perfect time to plant a garden, especially if you have a small space. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first up, use your space wisely. I definitely suggest having a succession sowing plan going into the season. If you do not know what succession sowing is, you are simply sowing multiple times in that same space. So you could start off with a round of broccoli or cabbage, turn that into squash, and then turn that into beans. And you could really maximize that one bed into multiple harvests throughout the year. Having a succession plan, especially when having a small space, is really beneficial. You can also choose varieties that have shorter windows like squash and beans that are roughly about 60 days till they mature. This will give you an even better idea of how much you can really crank out in a certain space before jumping into the season. Another way you can use your space wisely is by either buying started plants or starting seedlings yourself. This will kind of give you a jump start on the spring season, and it will allow you to actually have more time to succession sow later on. Another way to use your space wisely is to choose dwarf or bush varieties. This will help you have a lot more varieties throughout your space while not taking up as much space. All right, so next, follow your plant spacing, but don't follow your plant spacing. This is more directed toward anyone that's growing in a raised bed versus in ground. When it comes to in-ground growing, I definitely follow spacing recommendations, because if you did not know, most spacing recommendations are for in-ground planting. This is because the soil is a lot more compact and those roots spread out a lot further. When it comes to your garden beds, those roots have a lot more room to grow down and not out, so you can kind of get away with planting things a lot closer. I've done this every single year I gardened, minus the first year because I didn't know this concept. You do not want to overcrowd your beds. You also need to make sure that you are dealing with good quality soil if you are going to really maximize how much you are growing in your bed. And if you have soil from previous years, you probably want to make sure that you are fertilizing your plants, because they are going to eat that nutrition of that soil a lot faster than if they were planted a lot further apart. All right, so point number 3, plant vertical. And this was something I did not do for years, and I really missed out on the opportunity. You can really crank out a lot in a small place when you plant vertically. So think of any vining crops like squash, cucumbers. You can even do things like indeterminate tomatoes. The first year that I did any trellising, I had one trellis and I did cucumbers. And within 75 days, I had over 250 cucumbers alone. And my planting time here is like 250 days roughly. I have quite a long growing zone. If I was to crank that out, I would have had like 600, 700 cucumbers by the end of the year, which is just insane. But that right there can show you how much you can grow in such a small space if you plant vertically and plan to plant vertically. And my final point, squeeze as much as you can into your space with planters, grow bags, anything you can plant in it. I remember getting 5 grow bags and then getting an auction worth of 5 large planters along with my one garden bed, and that was a game changer. That's where all of my tomatoes were, all in the planters alone. And when you have planters, it's a little bit easier to cram it into a space versus a garden bed. So definitely keep that in mind, especially for any patio growers as well. Grow bags are a great option for you. I have so many grow bags, it's insane. I think I'm up to like 50 now, and I do plan to use quite a few in this upcoming garden, even though I have a ton of garden beds now. It really allows me to just throw some flowers here or throw herbs like peppermint and any type of mint variety. You guys always plant those in containers, because if you don't, those will just take over your entire garden. So definitely just use planters wisely. They can be a great benefit. You can typically find ones used very cheaply on auctions or Facebook Marketplace. Grow bags are very, very affordable, and I know I still have my very first grow bags from 5 years ago, and I have had a few of those rip as of last year, but they're still holding on pretty strong. So I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of what you can do to really maximize your small space in your garden. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye.